I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage. I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? I'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope.
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Toto Wolff. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Yeah, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay. Let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
Brian.
Aiden, I'm glad I've called you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Tensions had risen by the time we got to Monza. Like, after the team had pushed on after Paul Ricard and Silverstone had a really strong middle part of the season at Germany, Hungary, Austria, at Spa as well, and Monza's maybe our last really good chance to get some great points, get ourselves involved in that top 6 battle in the championship. And poor Casper, he was on it all weekend, like in practice, in qualifying. He could have even maybe been top 3 in qualifying. He didn't make a mistake on his last final lap. And then for Aiden, on the other hand, he was just struggling. He just didn't have any pace in practice, and we saw an opportunity with the new power unit to improve the team's chances in the race. You know, Casper could fight for maybe a top 5 in the race. Aiden, with this new power unit, could maybe get a point or two and, you know, just help the team scoring. So for us, there's no controversy at all. It's blowing out the water. Like, afterwards, I don't know why the press were having a field day with it, but for Casper though, it was maybe the last straw. Like, he wasn't speaking to Aiden now. Aiden, you know, he couldn't speak to Casper, and there was no speaking the rest of the season. We had to do like separate debriefs for them. There was tension was just insurmountable between them, and maybe it brought out the best in Aiden though. Like, being a rookie in F2 champion, he wanted to prove himself against a veteran like Casper, a guy he had, you know, looked up to, but who just for some reason ever since pre-season just didn't want him. It seemed like he just didn't want to get on with him, didn't want to teach, and didn't want to share setups, didn't want to do anything. So that's maybe why we on the back foot early on in the season, and only thanks to superb drives from either of them, like, we could score points. And maybe after Monza, the tension that putting us back down. But during the race, you know, we thought Casper would be right up there. He did get a good start. He was fighting in the top 5, but Aiden was on another level. He was siphoning his way through the fields. Like, he was getting past like Ferraris, Renaults, racing points like they weren't even there. And he was flying towards the top 10, and maybe that new power unit was more powerful than we thought. Like, you knew it was good. He didn't think it would be from the back to the front good. Like, Aiden was making some crazy dives as well, like somehow getting away with them as well, with like the Alpha Tauris in the midfield, and he got into the points, battling hard with the likes of Alex Albon, who was, you know, really struggling, and the rumours were definitely that he was out at Red Bull. Like, he was fighting for every single point, every single inch. And Jackson, as a rookie, like, having to prove himself against, you know, Casper, he was clawing at every opportunity he had as well in that race, and he was absolutely outstanding that middle part of the season. And we already had those rumours that, you know, if Bottas wasn't quite up there on a weekend, and Jackson had that drive like he had at like Silverstone or Paul Ricard, like, there's maybe rumours that you could maybe fill that seat one day, and it already begun.
You're in the top 10
No,
now.
Toto's
Keep it up.
always there in the garage as well. Every weekend, you know, speaking to Brian and, you know, just letting him know that you keeping an eye on how you didn't. Let him picking on his progress, seeing what he's doing, and somehow it didn't faze him. Aiden, at least in his rookie year. It was just an outstanding race from him once again, as you get a bit personal on occasion, you get a bit tight with some drivers. Like, I remember fighting hard with Gasly and Albon in particular, as they were kind of fighting in their respective teams to just stay in F1, and, you know, they weren't going to give Aiden any room, just like Aiden ain't giving them any room in previous races. So that was a great battle they had, and it wasn't just the Red Bulls, the McLarens as well. Like, Lando and Aiden, they had turned into pretty good rivals in the first half of the season. Like, Lando, of course, was coming up as like the new hope for Britain, along with Devon Butler. Now Aiden was here as well as an F2 champion. Like, it was a bit personal between them, and Aiden had, you know, caught up to Casper, and we were really worried what was going to happen on track, so we had to bring in Casper immediately. Like, we were not going to risk those two battling on track, probably costing us some more points. Like, we had decided quite early on in the race to have Aiden run long, as well as he had no issues with the tyres. Like, he was managing really well compared to Casper, who, you know, had a good first couple of laps, was kind of struggling afterwards. And Aiden actually cycled through into the leads, like ahead of Albon, ahead of Stroll, ahead of Hamilton and Bottas, who had pitted. Like, a rookie in a car that was in the lower half of the field leading a race, that is not bad at all. He had, you know, done a superb on the first stint, but it was all about keeping that momentum in the second stint as well, and trying to keep up that momentum on, you know, softer tyres. He had to push harder. He had to manage them a bit more as well, as they're a bit more fragile. And coming out of the pits, we saw he was next to Casper, and we took a deep breath. We thought it was over for him. He made a silly move. You know, we had words after the race. Of course, he wouldn't try to do it again, would he? But yeah, he saw Casper there, and he saw red trying to get past him. And once again, Ronnie was battling hard with Albon and got back past him after the pit stops. Again, he was right behind Casper, and everyone, I don't think anybody breathed when he was behind Casper. Like, Aiden was like on a march and Casper was trying to doggedly hold on. But in the end, Aiden was just stronger, like, just blew by him. Like, Casper wasn't even there, like, and I know after the race, Casper was not happy. Because he thought that was just the power doing it. No, giving Aiden that advantage down the straights, and I have to admit, okay, maybe it was a bit of that, but also Casper started over 10 places ahead of Aiden, and he dropped back. He did not have a good race, and he was not happy about it. Not happy seeing Aiden getting past him, and yeah, not happy to give him, you know, have him finish ahead of him, and that maybe led to Aiden again making a mistake, you know, tapping Carlos, even though he actually looks like on the replays he didn't tap Carlos, but that's what the steward says. You know, like Carlos just spun round on us, but in the end, Aiden got ahead and stayed ahead. He powered through the field. He got ahead of everyone. He battled hard with Kvyat once again. Like, Daniel was having a bit of a renaissance this season. Like, even though, you know, he was like on his way out of AlphaTauri just because of how things work in the Red Bull driver program, like, he was fighting hard to stay in F1. In the end, Aiden came out on top, but that wasn't the battle he was fighting that weekend. It was the battle in the garage within the team, and yeah, it led to some harsh times.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Well, quite the rivalry forming between the rookie Aiden Jackson and his veteran teammate Casper Ackermann.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when Hamilton signed for McLaren back in 2007. We all know how that one ended. Alonso returned to Renault pretty much the moment the season wrapped up.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
So it's a decent result for you today with a finish in the points. How are you feeling, Aiden?
I'm just glad I could deliver for the team. Casper and I are both trying to push ourselves as much as we can, so it can get a bit competitive. It is a good feeling to be the one coming out on top.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
I couldn't do it without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after, and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Ackermann?
Casper's got a way about him, you know. He's hot-headed. He can get offended easily. I'm learning that I've just got to accept that. Any problems are his, not mine.
Appreciate your time.
Mum?
Aiden, I'm here.
Oh, good. After that flight delay, I was starting to get concerned.
Don't worry. Everything's fine.
And they're looking after you?
Better than at Silverstone.
Good, because you were my lucky charm there, Mum. And I'm hoping you do the same here.
I'll try, love. Now just do what you do, and everything will be great.
I know. Mirror signal maneuver.
And always stick to the speed limit.
I'll try.
Have a great race, Aiden. I'll see you after.
I'm so pleased you're here, Mum. This one's for you, eh?